P2P members and Daily Mobility Series people. We are rocking and rolling up into the hips today, so excited to bring you open chain hip circles, and we're going to also work on hip pendulums a little bit, and I think that's it. So really great movements, getting the hips moving. These are another really important movement pattern for gait. So I've seen people do open chain hip circle in a certain position, and then their gait got drastically better. So important. Anyways, we're gonna quick cover the back force transmission system. So we've been talking a lot about walking and gait and how it can remodel your tissues, remodel your body. This is the back force transmission system. And so when we heel strike as we walk, the force goes up the lateral side of the leg, across through the SI joint. So people that talk about SI joint issues, chiropractors that focus on that, it is a really important area because it's like the X of our nervous system in gait, at least. So it's where the energy force transfers across in the low back through the SI joint and then up to the opposite lat, up all the way into the jaw. So our TM joint takes a little bit of force, and then the opposite arm. So we are kind of like a big X as we crawl and walk, some of our basic ingrained innate movement patterns as human beings. So really kind of cool concept here. In the open chain hip circle, I want you holding on. So we're gonna pick up a wall, countertop. You don't have to pick it up, but touch it, be close to it. And so we're gonna use that for balance or support, and then we're gonna find what our retraining position is for the hip. So we're gonna turn with the knee locked, foot fairly relaxed, turn the knee out as far as you can. That's external hip rotation. Then turn in as far as you can. That's internal hip rotation. Do that a couple times and see which one feels tighter or stickier, or which one just doesn't move as far. So if you look at the angle, for me, outside is better than inside. And so my retraining position for all of these open chain hip circles is gonna be knee turned in. I'm gonna try to maintain that position as I go through all the circles, okay? And that's gonna help free up motion in that specific position. So check the other side, give yourself a quick assessment on the angle where the kneecap's pointing or facing. This one you can look at it or have a partner with good eyes check on it for you, and you guys can figure out, is it moving more external or internal? Wherever it doesn't move as much is where we're gonna hold that position again as we get into the hip circle. So hanging on again, we're gonna turn in, and this is a cross body hip circle. So you can see I just brought that foot across the other foot, and that's where the term cross body comes from. I know, super creative. That's Dr. Cobb from Z Health, that's their naming system, and I like it because it makes sense. We're gonna keep that foot across the body, lengthened up, tall posture. We're not looking at it, and breathe. Good. We want to balance tension and relaxation. So just enough tension to support the movement. Let's do the other leg. So the leg up, knee turned in, and go ahead with the cross body hip circle, holding that position. Don't let the leg come out of that internally or externally rotated hip position. Remember to breathe. And for reassess today, let's take a walk. So I'm not gonna go super far so I can stay on camera here, but take a walk across the room and see how the hips feel after that cross body hip circle on both sides. We're gonna then go into a front hip circle, and again, really cool naming system. What does front mean? Just that leg goes up in front of the body. And then we're gonna circle there. So foot is relaxed, tall posture, focus on lengthening through that spine, and hanging on so you can really focus on the joint that's moving. Good. Hold that retraining position, whether it was external or internal. Again, for me, internal, so that's where I'm going to stick with. And then do the front hip circle on the other side. Way to breathe. Good. Take a quick walk, see how those hips feel. For me, I like that one. Going cross body makes them feel a little tight, which might be an indication actually that's a good one to work on. But out in front feels great to take a few steps after that. So hope you're finding one or two that work well for you here. Now we're gonna go out to the side. So again, hanging on, find that retraining position, so turn the hip in or out, and then out to the side, open chain hip circle, because the foot's to the side of the body, you got it. And both directions, do a few. Bring that other leg up into the side. If you are holding on to something and it's a hard object, make sure you don't kick it. Lengthen, breathe. Nice. Holding that retraining position. Let's do a little walking again, kind of reassess on those, see how they feel. Another good one. And then the last one is back. So we're going to send the foot back behind. So we're going to find that retraining position first. Drive that leg back. The tendency on this one is for people to want to drop their torso forward, so do try to stay tall through the spine. Just send that leg back by using the hip. So keep the retraining position, work on that, hold it as best you can. If it's internal rotation for you like me, this can be probably the toughest one, to extend and then internally rotate the hip. You can do it, okay? It will get better over time if you work on it. That's what a daily mobility is, right? It's a daily practice to improve on range of motion and your motor control in these different positions. So back hip circle on the other side. Let's walk it out again. Nice job. And again, remember guys, journal. So if you're finding ones that feel amazing after, really good drills to do before a strength training session. So, or if you're going for a hike and you're like, hey, you're out with a group of friends, we're at the park, you're going for a hike, whatever it is, and you're like, hey, I got these awesome warm-up moves that I learned from my trainer. You mind if I do a few? And I can actually coach you guys through them. So as you get more competent with the movement, you're probably going to feel more comfortable doing something like that. Just speaking up and saying, hey, I really need to do this warm-up. I want to, feel better, move better when we're out on the trail. Can I lead you guys through it? So kind of a cool idea or concept. Hopefully, if you're learning the movement really well, you're going to also be able to teach it. So we're going to, on the hip pendulum, bring the leg up into a knee bend. Lower leg is relaxed on this one. So similarity here to the hanging knee circle. That lower leg is just hanging out. So we're going to drive this with tall posture through the hip and letting that lower leg float right to left. This should feel loose and relaxed in that lower leg. Most of the movement happening through the hip. Not carrying a lot of tension on this one, so it could probably go 40-50 reps without fatiguing, and maybe not right away, but building to a point where you can do that, where you're learning to really control tension in your body. Just carrying enough to get the movement done, but not creating excess tension. And that's really important for suppleness, for improving flexibility. Let's work on the other hip. So knee comes up. We're going to float that lower leg. And for me, this one just feels really good. So should be a go-to really in my warm-ups. And again, same if it feels awesome for you, just jot that down, make a note. Hey, this is hip pendulums. It's a really good warm-up drill for me. All right, and then go ahead and take a walk again, reassess. And then in the next video, you guys, we're moving up the movement chain again, up into the pelvis, and then we'll get into the low back eventually. So thank you so much. Appreciate you moving with me. Appreciate you.